Good morning, sir. We will wait for around 4 to 5 minutes. Good morning, sir. Sir, we will start with those questions which are already asked to us on our mail ID. Plus, there are people posting across sites. I'll start with those questions.
Very fine.
Yes. Rishabh Rawat is asking, sir, we see during personal interviews, some of the interviews last for around 15 minutes or even 5 minutes. What does this imply? Just 15 minutes of interview, especially for repeaters.
Okay. Rishabh, since you have asked this question, I will answer it. Firstly, let me tell you that the outlook with which you are asking this question, that itself is deeply flawed. Please do not try to take interest in things which are not in your control. An interviewing officer has to assess you, that is all. And your job is to make yourself competent, and that is your job. He has to do his job, you have to do your job. Now think of that, you're taking interest as to how the interviewing officer has done his job is going to do you no good at all. Be very, very clear, not only you, Rishabh, and all of you who are listening to this. So don't bother for all this. Now I will get on to answering this. Let us take, for example, I have been an interviewing officer. I see the PIQ form of the individual who comes in front of me. I see that his OIR rating is 1. I also see that his academic record is absolutely excellent, all well above 90%, everything. Now, when I start talking to him, the first few things I ask him, he gives very competent answers. And as a result, I form an opinion that his reasoning ability, effective intelligence, such like qualities are well suited for being selected. So I have no queries on that. I am very clear that he is fit. So I may not ask him much questions related to technical knowledge or such like things. And similarly, by seeing his track record and one odd question here and there, I realized that this guy is very fit for selection. So, and maybe for some reasons I'm in a hurry, because normally we would not finish an interview in less than 25 to 30 minutes. Normally it would not happen. But if it is happening, that means adequate evidence has been gathered by the interviewing officer to assure him that the person is fit for selection. So he can do that in a matter of 15 minutes or so, as you have said that some people have experienced very short interviews. So that is one answer. Now, converse can also be true. That is, you see that OIR rating is just about acceptable. Then you find that, academic record is just passing, scraping through, maybe drop year, maybe failed 1 year. And then when you start talking, you realize that there is no way that this person can be taken in. No way. Because the kind of answers he gives, he doesn't understand your questions only properly. So then also a decision can be taken quite quickly. A parallel you can see where you would have experienced in the GTO task. There are candidates who are given absolutely easy command tasks in which you just have to put a blank in some wedge and you can cross over. And the GTO is very enthusiastic in telling you, well done, commander, and it asks you nothing further. He doesn't, create any further difficulties in solving the task and just asks you to go, thanking you with great enthusiasm. It is a very great indicator that the GTO, even before your command task started, had assessed that there is no chance of your being selected. And that is why he gave you an absolutely easy task. And he did not want to probe any further to check your reasoning ability and effective intelligence and so on. Because he knew, he was quite clear that there's nothing much left to check. So a command task in 2 minutes is equivalent to the interview of 10 minutes. But normally in the command task of 2 minutes, what would happen is that the candidate would be definitely not getting selected. But in the interview, it is possible that the candidate can be getting selected or rejected. Only thing is that there is no ambiguity whatsoever in assessment. And the same thing you see like in conference. There are times when a person's conference goes on for some time because there is ambiguity in assessment. Whereas for clear-cut cases, it doesn't take any time. So clear-cut selected or rejected, nothing much to discuss. A congruent opinion of all the assessors. You get the candidate comes 1 minute, hello, hi, how was your stay and all that, and he is sent off, no SRT is posted and all that. So that is how it is. But once again, try and not to become assessor ka baap. It is not going to help you. This kind of questions are not going to do you anything. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. That was an elaborate one. Okay. Jatin Gupta is asking, sir, I read English books as well as newspapers, but I face problem. I cannot speak for too long in English. Speak for too long, as he says.
Firstly, see the nature of the question. मैं ये बात तो मान सकता हूं कि आदमी जो है वो कहता है कि मैं 1 मील भाग सकता हूं लेकिन 10 मील नहीं भाग सकता. अब ये अंग्रेजी तो ऐसी चीज नहीं है ना यार कि अब तुम्हारी जबान थक गई है कि कैनॉट स्पीक फॉर टू लॉन्ग. तो अब ये सवाल ही अब ये कितनी अकलमंदी का सवाल है. इसका मैं क्या जवाब दूं कि मतलब 5 मिनट तक उसकी अंग्रेजी की जो है उसका स्टेमिना है और 6वें मिनट में स्टेमिना खत्म हो जाता है. आई डोंट नो भाई. या तो तुम अंग्रेजी बोल नहीं सकते हो. अगर बोल सकते हो, अगर 5 मिनट बोल सकते हो तो 6वें मिनट क्यों नहीं बोल सकते. तो आई रियली डोंट नो. कैन यू हेल्प मी योगिता विद दिस आंसर कि टू लॉन्ग नहीं बोल सकता. और व्हाट इज टू लॉन्ग?
He is not able to keep a track on grammatical mistakes that he is making. He has also specified that.
तो ग्रामेटिकल मिस्टेक है तो इसकी अंग्रेजी खराब है तो अंग्रेजी सुधारो. उसमें क्या है? टू लॉन्ग की क्या बात है? तुम 10 सेकंड में नहीं बोल सकते ढंग से भाषा. तो एटलीस्ट आस्क क्वेश्चन सेंसिबली. तो तुम्हारी अगर अंग्रेजी खराब है तो ये तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन है, यही पूछ लेते सीधा सीधा कि टू लॉन्ग क्यों गुजारा है उसमें बीच में. ओके, एनीवे, जब तुमने ये दे दिया है बात, अब तुम्हारी अंग्रेजी खराब है, अंग्रेजी सुधारने के कोई शॉर्टकट मेथड नहीं है. ज्यादा पढ़िए, ज्यादा लिखिए, ज्यादा बोलिए, तभी सुधार होगा और झटके से नहीं हो जाएगा. मेरे पास जो स्टूडेंट्स आते रहे हैं, कई लोगों ने 4-5 महीने में काफी सुधार कर लिया और कई लोगों ने 2-2 साल तक नहीं किया. तो देयर आर ऑल काइंड्स ऑफ सैंपल्स आई हैव एक्सपीरियंस. फाइन. तो everyone is unique. Everyone's rate of progress, grasp, motivation, perseverance are variable, and accordingly you will have to see how much, at what rate you progress. But for a decently motivated person who has some understanding of the language and has done his, academic qualifications with reasonable competence, a 4 or 5 months period of consistent effort should be able to bring about a reasonable improvement. That is what my experience with the students has shown. Fine. So that's what it is. Okay. Yeah. Next question.
Yes, sir. Now I'll take those who are posting online just now. Shubham Kakade is asking, is being introvert going to hinder in SSBs? I am talkative with all my friends, but I'm shy of talking to girls.
Because shy in talking to girls has got nothing to do with your SSB performance. It is not going to affect you because there will be no girls who will be interviewing you. There will be no girls who will be taking any of your tests, and there will be no girl members who would be there with your groups. So this is not going to affect your SSB performance at all. As far as your social life is concerned, this is nothing very abnormal. People like me who grew up in a absolutely male environment in our schooling days, and similarly we went to India, we also had a similar issue because we were not doing something. So there's nothing very abnormal about it. And what you have to realize is that once you start talking, girls are not very great shade different from boys. They've got the physiology is different, but in a lot of things we are quite similar. So it is that, initially you may have hesitation, but once you get into workplace or you get into college where you have a co-ed environment, then things will become normal. उसमें क्या होता है, अगर तुम वो होगा कि तुम you leave this country, you go abroad, then you work with foreigners, you will be a little bit hesitant in the beginning, and you will get along. So nothing big deal about it. But introversion is something different, and generally a reasonable degree of extroversion is required for defense services to become a leader, because you should be able to communicate well. And if you are hesitant in sharing your thoughts and ideas, and you keep holding on to them, it would not be good for the service. Let us take, for example, and I have seen थोड़ा थोड़ा एक्सपोजर मेरे को कुछ ये वेबसाइट से यूट्यूब से मिलता भी रहता है, स्टूडेंट्स भी बताते रहते हैं कि किसी ने बोला कि इंट्रोवर्ट बड़े अच्छे कमांडर वगैरह बन जाते हैं, तो नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होगा. आई विल गिव एन एग्जांपल. लेट्स से आप जो हैं यंग ऑफिसर हैं, आप इंट्रोवर्ट टाइप हैं, और आप जो थे पोस्ट हो गए कश्मीर वैली में, काउंटर टेररिस्ट ऑपरेशन में आप कमांडर साहब हैं. अब आप इंट्रोवर्जन अपना लेके चले हुए हैं. अब आपको जो है, आप इंटरेक्ट नहीं करेंगे एसपी से, डीसी से, जो थानेदार हैं, स्कूल के मास्टर जी हैं, जो इन्फ्लुएंशियल लोग हैं, उनसे बातचीत नहीं करेंगे. आपके पास फ्लो ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं होगी. अब आप अपना इंट्रोवर्जन लेके चले हुए हैं और आपका महीने भर के अंदर अंदर आपकी जो है कंपनी का एम्बुश हो गया, तो आपके लोग मर गए एम्बुश में. अब यही अगर आप इंट्रोवर्ट नहीं हुए होते और आपने इन सब लोगों से बातचीत की होती और आपके जो थे कनेक्शंस अच्छे, आपने नेटवर्क एस्टेब्लिश कर लिए होते, तो ये जो थी सिचुएशन अवर्ट हो जाती. तो ये बहुत बड़ी बात है कि एम्बुश में लोग मर गए और दूसरे सिचुएशन में आपको इंफॉर्मेशन पहले से थी, एम्बुश हुआ ही नहीं. तो आप रियलाइज करेंगे कि ये चीज कितनी रेलेवेंट है. तो आप इस चीज को दूर करने की कोशिश करिए, एंड इट कैन बी सॉर्टेड आउट. आफ्टर ऑल, एनीथिंग कैन बी इम्प्रूव्ड बाय स्टेप मेथड. एंड आई हैव हैड सेवरल स्टूडेंट्स who I had one, I remember one girl student who did not even used to say hello, hi to her colleagues. because she had some family problems as she grew up as a kid. And in a matter of about 2 months, when I said that you must, reach out to people, wish them, and all that, uh, she became a very changed person. So things can be improved, and you should, make a concerted effort to overcome this problem. Remaining introvert is not a good idea. Yeah, that's it. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. The name is a bit different. Exams 22. I lack in convincing people. So does that indicate lesser confidence or what to do? Convincing people.
See, convincing people has to do with your reasoning ability and your communication skills. Both these things are relevant. First is that you should be clear as to what has to be explained. And the second thing is that you should be able to express your thoughts in words. These are the two things which you have to do. So, in either of these two dimensions, you are lacking, and it is a weakness. So, you should make efforts to improve, and you have to improve in your reasoning ability as well as communication skills. And if you go through my book, or you can read the blogs on this, improving reasoning ability, improving your communication skills, then you can devise your plans, work on them systematically, and improvements will gradually take place by step method. Nothing suddenly can happen, and you need to do that. It will be important, not just from the perspective of SSB, but from the perspective of life, because even your own family members, your friends, there is a need to communicate, to express your ideas, convince people with your thoughts, or get convinced by other people's thoughts also, and then move on. That's what life is all about. So we are not, man is a social being. So we live in society, and influencing society, you need both these things. So please remember two things you have to improve: reasoning ability and your communication skills. These are the things which have to be worked upon, and improvement will take place. Yeah, next question, please.
Yes, sir. Parveen Saini is asking, if competence is a key to SSB, then why do IITians get rejected?
If competence.
Competence.
Okay. This is a nice question. Competence is definitely an important criteria, but it is not the only criteria. If some of you would have gone through, I think most of you read about the OHQs and the factors and all that. So the factor one has to do with your, reasoning ability, effective intelligence, and these are the aspects which are, primarily to do with your thinking. There are other things also, like your, getting along with people, your how much dum you have, your willpower, determination, and all that, which we call as the factor four quality. So overall, a person has to measure up. It was no one, it has well talked about that our late President Abdul Kalam Saab had not been selected by the SSB. Now, I do not know what his level was at the time when he went for SSB, but I presume, like the example you are saying that IITians are getting rejected, so he would probably have been of that level, but overall he was not found good enough. That's why he was not selected. So that's the one aspect. There is another aspect, and that is that it is possible that an IITian may not actually be, that competent. And I have myself come across such people. in my experience. I will let me not quote an example. Okay, without naming, we can talk about it. I had one or two guys who had all the thoroughbred IIT, 95, 96% marks in 12th. And when I started asking them questions about their own subject, they did not have sensible answers because they did not understand the things well enough. And a large number of you may have seen the movie Three Idiots and can think of the character Chatur. And you would find a lot of Chatur type characters in your own school and college days. Now, a character like Chatur would definitely not get selected by the SSB because, and he was standing second in the class. Had it not been for Rancho, he would have been standing first. So it can happen that a person is an IITian and not competent enough. And also, there can be, times when a person is competent enough as far as his IQ is concerned, but in some of the other factors of his personality, he or she is not measuring up, and that is why the person is not getting selected. Yeah. Next question.
Yes, sir. Rohan Gaikwad is asking, what is the most interesting answer that you have heard from a candidate? Why do you wish to join Indian Army?
I think let's leave this question because what is there to interesting? All that everyone has to give his own answer. Fine. And this is a serious forum. We answer questions which should benefit individuals and not in a mood for frivolous talk here. So let's leave this question. Yeah, move on.
Anonymous person is asking, my AFSB is scheduled in the month of May. Sir, please give me tips how to be physically fit in 1 month.
You can read my fitness guide. This thing is available. You can take the would be better for you, ebook, rather than taking the hard copy because it will take time to get delivered. And then you can chalk out your plan. What I can say is that a good targets to be accomplished before you go for SSB or before you join training would be that if you are able to, a boy is able to run 5 kilometers in about 25 minutes, for a girl about 29 minutes, and for a boy push-ups 40, for a girl push-ups 12 to 15, for a boy chin-ups about 10, for a girl 2, and sit-ups for a boy 40 and girls also 40. If you can attain these parameters, it is good. You will have to make your own plans. I don't know what your physical fitness level is, what your body weight is, what kind of things are there. Those things you will have to see and make your plan accordingly. You may not be able to do it in 1 month, or you may be able to do it. So accordingly, you will have to make a plan. We cannot have a general prescription for everybody. It will be unique for every individual. Kindly read my book. It is pretty elaborate. It is a short document. By reading that, you will be able to formulate your plan. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Sir, Kesh Sharma as well as Kunal is asking, sir, what kind of maturity level is required in SSBs and what is maturity according to you?
Firstly, I would like to know your definition of maturity, because there are people who are pretty, grown up in years, but they lack maturity. And we are not getting into these terms of maturity much as far as our functioning is concerned. But maturity has to do with a combination of what kind of reasoning ability you have, what kind of effective intelligence you have, and how it translates into your social interactions. So this is what is the understanding of the term maturity. And often we would take it that a person who is more mature, he would not be prone to taking emotional decisions. Decision making would be more rational than emotional. So a combination of all these things can be taken to imply the aspect of maturity. And a good, decent level of maturity is required. It will be very difficult for me to define, as to this is the acceptable level of maturity. But once I interview a candidate, or like psychologist goes through the dossier and the GTO assesses the person in the group behavior, then all the assessors have a mental image that this much is the threshold, is the minimal acceptable level, and accordingly we take our decisions. Fine. So I cannot lay down ये maturity level ना, ये 10 में से 6.5 है और ये 10 में से 5 है. But depending upon the answers I get from the individual, I am able to make out कि इतना acceptable है और इतना acceptable नहीं होगा. ठीक है? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Bhikkhu Singh Rajput and Fauji Singh is asking, sir, I have wasted my class 11th, and Fauji Singh is telling, sir, I have to reappear in my graduation. So what do I do? How do I heal myself? What possibility of recommendation?
What you people should do, it's a very repetitive question, कि क्या आपका पास्ट एकेडमिक रिकॉर्ड का क्या इम्पैक्ट होता है. आप हमारे यूट्यूब चैनल में जाकर सुनिए पुरानी बातें. एक हमारा केस स्टडी है हमारी किताब में लिखा हुआ अजय सिंह राजपुरोहित का. अजय सिंह राजपुरोहित साहब ने 6 साल में इंजीनियरिंग पास की थी. मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर वो पास आउट हुए थे और उनकी नॉलेज खास नहीं थी 6 साल के बाद भी मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग, लेकिन वो ऑफिसर बन पाए क्योंकि जो बाद में जो वो काम कर रहे थे उन्होंने अच्छे से किया. उन्होंने अपनी जनरल अवेयरनेस वगैरह इंप्रूव की एंड वहां से वो उन्होंने अपना लाइफस्टाइल बदली किया. तो आपकी जो ये है हिस्टोरिकल जो आपका रिकॉर्ड है उसको आप चेंज नहीं कर सकते. जब आप फेल हो गए 11वीं क्लास में तो हो ही गए फेल, और जब आपने ग्रेजुएशन में फेल हुए तो हुए ही हो, उसको आप झूठला नहीं सकते. अब हम अमूमन कोशिश करते हैं कि हम बेवकूफ बनाने की कोशिश करें. दादी बीमार थी, एक्सीडेंट हो गया था, नो वी ट्राई टू गिव नॉनसेंसिकल lame excuses for our failures. That is not a good thing, and it shows that a person's locus of control is highly external, that he attributes his failures to the environment rather than himself or herself, and it indicates that the future prospects of improvement are also very limited. So that kind of outlook should not be there. So take stock of things and start working to improve yourself, and the selection system will not hold your past weaknesses very seriously against you so long as you have overcome them and moved on in the right direction. If you continue to persist with the attitude which led you to fail in 11th and in graduation, then definitely we will take cognizance of it and we will not select you. Yeah. Okay. Next question.
Yes, sir. This is an interesting one. But Sidhu is asking, sir, I handle 5 tatters in our fields with my mother and only earn some good money. Let's say he's talking about his survival enough. So can I present this during my interview?
Can I present क्या? तो जो है वो बताना है ना सच सच, और क्या? तो झूठ बता के क्या होगा तुम्हारा? ठीक है, जो भी किया है वो सच सच बताइए। हाँ, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
Sir, Amar Yadav is asking, sir, how to prepare exactly for VAT, word association test.
बैट के लिए मेरे 3 पॉइंट्स हैं। जो भी बात लिखते हो वो सही हो, फाइन, द मीनिंग शुड बी करेक्ट। सेकेंड थिंग इज दैट योर लैंग्वेज शुड बी करेक्ट। एंड थर्ड वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है कि जितना ये वेबसाइट्स और कोचिंग एकेडमी में बकवास लिखी हुई है ना इसके बारे में कि ये नहीं करो, कुड शुड का ये करो, फलाने का वो करो, जस्ट इग्नोर ऑल दैट ट्रैश, दैट्स ऑल। या
Aditya Singh is asking, sir, my board examination and SSB is on the same day in Bangalore. What should I do? Of course.
you will have to take a decision, buddy. A person cannot be split into 2 parts. That much is something I know very well.
Yes, sir.
So you can't be simultaneously present at both the places. So my suggestion would be, or rather I can't say what you do. What I would have done is I would have written my board examinations and I would have applied for SSB later. And I could have asked earlier for the absentee batch thing.
Yes, sir. Sir, Arpit Kumar Singh is asking, can someone prepare for other government examinations along with defense preparation?
Yes, definitely it can be done. You can prepare for everything possible and it will take nothing away from your defense preparation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, Shankar is asking, sir, my board exam is coming and I'm struggling to keep myself disciplined. Sir, how to develop discipline?
Kick yourself. एक आर्टिफिशियल एक लात टांग के रखो, उसे मारा करो अपने बम्स में घुमा के, ठीक है? या नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
Sir, last one we will take. Aditya Pal is asking, sir, I do not have any great achievement or achievement certificates, just some sports participation. I didn't get my NCC as well. Sir, can all these things affect my interview?
No, it is not going to affect. If you are physically fit and we find you are okay as far as the requisite qualities are concerned, ये कहीं नहीं दिया हुआ कि तो आप स्टेट के खिलाड़ी हो, फलाने हो. This is all बड़ी बकवास. That is all what is required. और सर्टिफिकेट की कोई वैल्यू नहीं होती. सर्टिफिकेट मैंने 2 साल में किसी का नहीं देखा. Fine. So don't get bothered about all this. These are all rumors and क्या कहते हैं, false beliefs. Please go to my website, read about myths, etc. about SSB. You will get clarification. There's ample information existing on our YouTube channel, on our website. Most of these queries have been answered there. And if you read my book, the Practical Guide to Become an Officer, you will get answers to practically all these things. Yeah.
Last question, last. James Bond, someone is anonymous. Sir, I can do 50 push-ups, but I struggle to do chin-ups.
तो फाइन, तो इंप्रूव करो चिनअप का. चिनअप पुशअप करने से चिनअप नहीं इंप्रूव होगा ना. पुशअप जो है एक्सटेंसर मसल है, आप धक्का दे रहे हो बॉडी से दूर की तरफ चीज को, और पुलअप में फ्लेक्सर मसल है, आप नजदीक खींच रहे हो. तो इनमें कॉम्बिनेशन है ही कुछ नहीं आपस में. तो व्हाट यू हैव टू डू इज यू हैव टू ट्रेन योर मसल्स टू डू चिनअप्स बाय डूइंग चिनअप्स. तो वो इंप्रूव हो जाएगा. If somebody thinks that by push-up बढ़ाने से आपको चिनअप इंप्रूव हो जाएगा, that will not happen. So that is what you have to do. Fine.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We will wind up for the day. Please refer to our previous videos, and those with specific doubts, please write to us at No Frills Academy @